Okay, we are here for the best teams of the month for the month of September. In the meta, it's not much different than last month. I'ma keep it so real, but there might be a few things here and there that might be different, so we gotta do this every single month. You should just expect the likes of Gold Freezer on pretty much every other team, but there are some other competitors that you might want to consider if you're looking to build one of the best teams in the game. I want to point out that this video here, where I'm going to be listing 5 teams that I think are definitely the strongest teams in the game, it's just my opinion, and on top of that, nothing in this video is in order, so don't take it too harshly. You can suggest your own teams in the comment section below, and if you want to order your own list or my list, definitely be sure to do that down below. But yeah, I just gotta put that out there before we actually get into the video. But now we can actually start discussing the top 5 teams for the month, for last month, leading into this month anyways, the month of September, going through to October, but we'll do another one every single month, and then the end of the year is very soon with the festival around the corner. Let's get into it. Okay, so number 1 on this list, not necessarily the best team on this list. Like I said, for you skippers, it's not in order. We've got Future. Now this is just my go-to team, but this team is very common in ranked PvP for 2 reasons. Ultra Vegito Blue being on the team, and the new Cell being one of the new units on the team. I don't have the Cell, so I'm using this 3 here, where I have Ultra Vegito Blue, Sword of Hope Trunks, and my third man being Ultra Goku Black Rose. So if I go to party formation, you can see that everybody has a good role on this team. Even the bench units are very, very important. Trunks and Mai here, they're here to actually give a Z ability for the team because everybody here is Future. But on top of that, there's a Zenkai buff for Ultra Vegito Blue, which he eats off of. Green Vegeta here, the God Key, he's there for a Z ability for everybody because God Key and Vegeta Clan pretty much goes all the way around for people that I'm using. So Rose and UVB, but UVB is on leader, and Sword of Hope Trunks Vegeta Clan, so it works that way. But the Zenkai buff, it's God Key, so then Ultra Goku Black eats off that. Sword of Hope Trunks isn't eating off any Zenkai buffs, even though I probably could give him one, but I'm just not going to. It's not worth it because he's really just a unit that's going to absorb hits on the team. He's more of like a supporting role. And then don't sleep on Mai here. She's very valuable at 14 stars. She gives the best Z ability HP buff in the game to Future, 25% it being. So that's very important. Now, if you wanted to run Zamasu instead, you could. He's actually a very good unit because he follows the same role as Sword of Hope Trunks. He breaks the combo by reducing the enemy's ki, and he's able to bring out endurance onto the battlefield, which is dope. Then the Cell I spoke about earlier, I don't have him, so if I was going to swap out somebody, it would definitely be either the Rose or the Zamasu / Sword of Hope Trunks. It could be either or, but in this case, let's say I'm going to use Sword of Hope Trunks, right? And I want to swap out Rose because Gold Freeze is all over the place. I could take out these 2 here, and then I could replace the Z ability buffer. So in this case, I'll be putting the Cell here. I'm just going to use this Cell as a placeholder for the new Cell. I think this is Rose as well. His Z ability is Future. Then he also Zenkai buffs Future, so you could actually use him. But you couldn't use this guy here. Even though he's Future, he's Zenkai buffs God Key, so just bear that in mind. I just want to mention that. And pretty much everything else is useless. All the reds, yellows pretty much are useless. I guess you could use Future Gohan as an endurance unit following the role of Sword of Hope Trunks if you really don't have Zamasu or Sword of Hope Trunks, but I wouldn't opt in for it. It's not more optimal. It's like definitely my experience in PvP, you're not going to see Future Gohan around. So this would pretty much work the same way if you wanted to have Goku Black, Ultra Goku Black as well. So yeah, that's basically the team for Future. You always gotta have UVB on the team. You can swap out Sword of Hope Trunks, you can swap out Ultra Goku Black, or you can definitely use Cell, the new Cell, the Death Buff Cell. He's actually really, really good. But yeah, that's number 1 on this list. We've got Future. Number 2 on this list is a very, very valuable team. Androids. They've snuck their way up very, very slowly, but they got to the top nonetheless. Androids is a very dangerous team. Now, every time I show off Androids, it's kind of tough because I don't have 2 of the main units, those being 17 and Cell. But in this case, I'm still Zenkai buffing them even though they're only here in spirit. So if I go to party formation, if I'm talking about 17, I'm just going to use one of the Android 18s, for example. So just imagine that's LL17, the Legend Limited Android 17. I'd actually show him in a sec. And then over here, you'd obviously have the Cell. So I'm going to use this crappy Cell, and that would make the team. So you have LL17, the Gammas 1 and 2, Zenkai buff by Cell here, Zenkai buff by Android 21, Evil 21 Zenkai buffing the Cell over there. Just if you want to check as well, because I feel like it's good to show the Z ability HP, Zenkai buff Android over here, Cell, Z ability Android, Zenkai ability Android works the same way, and then here same thing, it should be the same thing. Android, works very well, right? If I go to the character list just so you can see the exact characters I'm talking about, we've got them here. Cell, perfect form Cell, I don't have him unfortunately, and 17 here. If you're wondering if you could use these two, I wouldn't recommend. It's not efficient to do that. I would just really avoid it. But also if you wanted to, you could pretty much make this some variation of Future in a sense, or just put UVB on the leader slot, Go Freeze on the leader slot. People do that a lot. They just put them on the team. So you'd be running Androids, and I'd advise you run 17, the purple Cell. So if it's still Android and you wanted to run a leader slot, right, you'd be running 17, which is very effective for any leader slot option. The Cell, he does damage, and you keep them on the Zenkai buffs, which is good because she's a HP buffer. You're still Zenkai buffing, let me keep Cell there. You're still Zenkai buffing the 17, and then whoever you want to use as your next option. So in this case, you know me, I'm an Ultra Vegeta Blue merchant, so I'd go something like that and it would work. And you could just keep the Zinobi, somebody that would actually buff these two. So in this case, it's blue and purple. I could opt in for even some EXs that buff blue and purple very, very well, such as this guy here, you know, Android 14, 50% I believe to blue and purple strike attack. It doesn't have to be them as well. It could be someone that works even better. So for example, Go Freezer, because he's also a blue and purple. You see how it's all just synergizing well, but it doesn't really matter because as long as they're leader, they're still getting all the Z abilities. But yeah, those are just some options for Androids. I'd really just keep it with the original 3 because it's really trying to be Androids. Then of course it's not 18 and this crap Cell, it's the new LL17 and the new Cell. So yeah, Androids number 2, a very valuable team, deserves to be mentioned for sure. Number 3 on this list, we got Universe Rep. Universe Rep is a very popular team. Now I haven't filled in all the slots because right now I'm running a Universe Rep with a leader slot option, which would, in my case, you can see it's Ultra Vegeta Blue, but you don't have to do that. You can keep it very strongly Universe Rep. Now there's a character I don't have and I need to mention him again, 17. He's a very, very important unit on the team. You could put him on the leader slot, right? So let's say you have 17 on the leader slot. What you'd want to do for the bench, you'd be using Jiren. Jiren's very valuable, so put Jiren over there. Bergamo for HP buff. You probably take this guy off. I just want to fact check this UI sign because you could use him as well, but he does he's Zenkai Boss Universe Rep, so I don't think Go Freezer is going to get that. I'm pretty sure. Let me fact check because I don't be using the team all that often. There you go. So UI sign, pretty solid as well. You can put him onto Zenkai buff that way. You've got a blue, well, blue and yellow here, or purple and yellow here, however you want to look at it. If I want to grab one more option on the team, I wouldn't really go for anybody here. I might go for a color Zenkai buff, if that makes sense. So obviously 17's on the leader, color buff, not a Zenkai buff. So 17's on the leader, right? And I could use someone like Yellow Broly, who buffs yellow and I believe blue. Yep, strike attack right there. That could be very effective to get the full 15%. Just another option, showing you just options on the team that you could add to make it so that you're getting the maximum amount of like strike damage for your team. Lots of people like to sometime add this guy because his Z ability is really good. Universe Survival Saga, 35%, and he also gives you strike and blast attack 15%. I'm just giving you some options, but of course the main thing I want to mention is that this guy, Go Freezer, needs to be on the team. 17 should definitely be on the team. You lead a slot UVB as well if you want him on the team. You could run UI Sign as well. He's very valuable to the team. Jiren is an option that you could run on the team as well. If I want to just go through the full thing, if there's anybody I'm missing, which I don't think there is besides 17, that would pretty much be the team. But there's a lot of variations of this team, which is wild. And like Lineage of Evil crosses over with it, which is quite weird. So let's say I'll actually include it in the next section as a whole different team, because Lineage of Evil variation of the team is very much specific. But Universe Rep works very well, and I advise you use it if you're struggling in PvP, because out of all the teams, if I'm being realistic, this is probably the best team on the list. But for sure, they do make the list, number 3. So I think this is number 4 on the list. Lineage of Evil is straight Lineage of Evil. Freezer Force units as well. It's either or, however you want to phrase it. But it's a very solid team, and there's no changes that I'm going to make to this team. But I will mention some change that you could have if you wanted to really just change one thing up. So you can see we got the Revival Freezer. He's being used. Gold Freezer unit is the main unit on the team, and then we've also got the first one Freezer. Now why this team works so well is because they're basically just the same unit again and again 3 times. If you just ignore Goku, it's 3 freezes, and then the Goku being purple helps Chilled allow him to get a triple Zenkai buff, which is nuts. Like triple Zenkai buff is just, it's the full force that you see in PvP, which is why they're the most annoying overpowered unit in the game. Even a 4x Zenkai buff, because of the first one Frieza, I ignored him because he's a unit that's being used on the team. But you can see he's also a Zenkai buffer for Gold Frieza, just making them a lot more annoying, more powerful in general. First one Frieza really just supporting as well, and Revival Frieza having his revival just makes the battle go on a bit longer and help you on the back end. Apart from that, there's nothing really to do with this team. If you're missing a Zenkai buff, the only thing I could mention, and it might cut you back just a tiny bit, is like Super Saiyan 3 Goku, for example, because he's going to buff the Gold Frieza unit. Besides from that, I wouldn't really suggest anything else, but you'd be sacking off giving this guy buffs, or depending on who you got on your leader slot, just putting that out there. So yeah, Lineage of Evil, you can see is very much set in stone. There's no real change to it, and it's just focused around Gold Frieza. Gold Frieza just makes it the perfect team that doesn't need much change, which is why it's such an annoying team. But if Gold Frieza was off this team would be on life support pretty much. But yeah, Gold Frieza went from like, I mean, Lineage of Evil went from like yellows, a lot of yellows on the team, to just blue-purple, which is wild. But yeah, they're number 4 on this list. I don't need to go that much further into it. Just completely dominating. Now unfortunately, that's going to be the end of the video. I usually have 5 teams and I often do an honorable mention section, but I just feel like there's no point, man. Legends is very stale and repetitive, and we really need a new unit to shake things up a bit. I guess you could slide some teams that I could mention. For example, some people just use Gold Frieza on the leader slot, then they run UVB and UGB, so the Fusion Warriors, but that Fusion Warriors is not a good team really and truly, so there's no point of really mentioning it. It's just any Gold Frieza options that you have really can just keep you alive and afloat in PvP. Same thing with UVB, but there's a lot of blues out there, so I'm not really going to include that. And color teams are just mix and match as well, so I'm not going to put it out solidifying it as a team. But really and truly, unless it was like a top 2-3 team, even the teams that I showed, they're pretty much blue purple color teams anyways, so you can see how much of an impact just Gold Frieza alone has on the game. But I'm going to leave the video like that. I appreciate you guys for watching the video. It's just a video for people to make some teams that are very popular in the game right now, but hopefully this was helpful. If you haven't already, make sure to press that subscribe button, man. But I'm going to leave the video like that, guys. I appreciate you guys for watching. Subscribe for more for show, and I will see you guys in the next one, man.